grow up with the lesson that you shouldn't talk to strangers. Watch out, that's a stranger. Don't talk to them. Strangers are dangerous, you know, stranger danger, right? I grew up with that for sure. And I know that as the years went on and my kids were little, my kids are now 23 and 25, but when they were little, I remember teaching them about stranger danger. Don't ever talk to strangers, because as I got older and as my kids were, when my kids were born, there were a lot more problems around strangers and kids being abducted and all those kinds of things that never really seemed to be a big issue when I was growing up. But they became an issue. And so many of us really grew up with that idea that strangers are dangerous and we shouldn't talk to them, we shouldn't be around them, and just in general, stay away from strangers, right? Bad news, strangers. But think about it. Most of the world is strangers. The people in the world, there are 7 billion of us or whatever it is, most of those are strangers to us. They're not all bad, they're not all scary, but that's how we go about life. So we tend to not talk to people we don't know. And by not talking to people we don't know, we limit ourselves only to the people we feel are safe, who we know, right? Our circle. And maybe we go to a class, but the people there, we can meet them because they're not so strange. They've joined the same class as us. Or we go to a dinner party. Those people aren't so strange, right? They've been all invited to the dinner party by somebody we know. And so while it might still feel a little awkward or uncomfortable, maybe even a little nerve-wracking to be with new people, we don't really perceive those people as strangers and bad, right? So I've been thinking about this because I went to a course recently, actually last weekend, and did an exercise I've done before. It was done in a little different way, but it's sort of eye gazing. So I've done it before one-on-one, where you stand in front of someone or sit in front of someone and you gaze into their eyes and you just be with them. And you look into their eyes and you connect, right? In this case, there were about 100 of us in the room, and we did the same kind of exercise. We connected with different people in the room, and then we connected one-on-one with someone, and we got a chance to experience the, being kind of one in terms of humanity. That we're all one, we're all the same. And in this room, there were people like me, coaches, writers, healers, doctors, nurses, business people, engineers, all kinds of people. And I got to look in their eyes. But there were also drug dealers, former drug dealers, former convicts, people who'd been in jail for something, people who admitted to abusing other people physically or mostly physically. So, I had, normally you'd meet someone like that and you'd be like, ooh, scary, right? That's a scary stranger. But you know what? When I looked into their eyes, they're no different than me. I realized I could see they were no different than me. Now, maybe they did some things differently than me, but they weren't different than me, right? On a human being level, on a humanity level, that we were all the same. Different choices maybe, different personalities, different characteristics, different experiences, but we were all the same. And that's a pretty humbling experience when you realize that, when you can look around the room at 100 people you don't know or more and realize that despite any life experiences, we all basically are the same, and we can look into each other's eyes and say, these are the eyes of my mother, these are the eyes of my father, these are the eyes of someone who is forgiving me, these are the eyes of someone who is loving me, these are the eyes of someone accepting me. And that brings us together. And when we look into eyes like that, we're no longer strangers. We're just one humanity. And, I was thinking about this in reference to an experience I had just about 2 weeks ago. I was walking down the street in Los Gatos, California, which is not far from me. And I'm walking down the street and I'm in a hurry to get to the sandwich shop. And as I'm walking, there's a man walking, I'm walking this way, he's walking this way, and I'm not really paying much attention because I'm just trying to get to the sandwich shop. And as he approaches me, he says to me, he looks straight at me and he says, "Isn't it a beautiful day?" And I thought, that's odd, right? At first I was taken aback. And then after I kind of hesitated, I said, "Yeah, it is. It's a really gorgeous day." And I just kept walking. And then I got past him, we passed, and I turned around and I looked back and I yelled after him, "Thanks so much for speaking to me." And he turned his head a little bit and he, thanked me for being part of his day and for speaking to him. That interaction made my day. And here was a perfect stranger who spoke to me, looked me in the eye, said something lovely to me, and we had an interaction. And if I could do it over again, I would have stopped. And I would have asked him who he was and what made him call out to me that way and speak to me. And it made me realize, along with this experience in this class of looking eye to eye at people, that we tend to not do that at all. We don't speak to anyone we don't know. We don't look them in the eyes. And it could be the bank teller, the checkout clerk, the person who repairs your car, any number of people who you see on a regular basis and you don't look them in the eyes. It could be the person who cuts your hair or who cleans your house. And I'm at fault of this too. And so I want to encourage us all to take time to really be present with the people we meet. Don't be so afraid of strangers. The majority of people are not strangers. So when you go to, get your groceries, look at the name tag on the, of the checkout clerk and call him or her by name. Ask them how their day is. Ask them really to tell you how their day is. Are they having a good day, a bad day? Are they, do they enjoy their job? Is there something that they do besides this? There's a girl that I see quite often in a metaphysical shop. So it's kind of, crystals and books and all those kinds of things. And she very often will, I'm sorry, my phone is doing something weird. She will I'll go in there and I know her name. And now I finally remember it. I'm not always so great with names, but I'll go in and I'll talk to her. And one day I was talking to her, I said, well, so Bridget, is this what the only thing you do? Is this shop, basically the thing you do, being here and selling jewelry and crystals and books? And she said, oh, no. I'm in school. I said, what are you studying? She said, astrophysics. I was blown away. And so we started talking about her dreams. My God, she would like to, she'd like to run NASA one day. I was just blown away, but I would have never found that out if I hadn't asked her. So ask your grocery clerk, what's their dream? What do they do when they're not there? Ask the person who carries your bag at the hotel whether he likes his job. Call him by his name. He's got a name tag. Pay attention. When you meet your neighbor, look them in the eye and be present with them and really talk to them and listen and be present. Eye to eye. Be present. We're so afraid to look people in the eye. Stop doing that and take the time to talk to people. Speak to strangers. Now, I'm not saying go hang out, in a back alley in Chicago or New York or LA and wait for, in that dark alley for someone strange to show up. No, and ask them to stand there and gaze in your eyes. No, I'm not asking you to do that. That would be silly and dangerous. I'm asking you to do it in safe places, like when you walk down the street of your town or when you go to the grocery store or you're at the library or you're at a class, whatever it is. You go to a doctor's visit. How many people ask the doctor, how are you really? What's your week been like? What's your day been like? What are your goals and aspirations? Speak to strangers. And what you're going to realize is we are all one big, we're humanity. We are human beings. And we're all being human. But when we can change how we interact with people, how we see people, we will change humanity, change how we think about humanity. And instead of humanity being so scary and us being scared of other human beings just like us, we can begin to be open and loving and accepting and connect with them, and it will change the world. So I'd like to inspire you and challenge you today to do that, to begin speaking to strangers, to begin connecting with people, being present with them, looking them in the eye and speaking to them, and see what happens. I'll be doing the same experiment right along with you. Let's go out there and make some change. I'm Nina Amir. I'm the Inspiration to Creation Coach. I'm a certified high performance coach, and I would be thrilled if I could help you get from where you are now to where you want to be in life, or with writing and publishing and blogging. These are the two areas I work in. Life is pretty general. That means every area of your life. I'd love to help you master your psychology and your physiology and your productivity and your persuasive abilities, your people abilities, your focus, your energy, all these things, so that you can really live your life fully and you can achieve your dreams. I'd love to hear about your aspirations and help you get to them, help you achieve those aspirations and live fully and achieve your potential and your purpose. So if that's something you'd like some help with, give me a shout. Actually, sign up, fill out my application at ninaamir.com/free session, and fill out that application, and I'll schedule a session with you, an hour free session, and I promise you'll go away with some tips and tools and strategies from high performance that are going to help you level up and make a difference in your life. You can also just go over to ninaamir.com, check me out, read my blog, see what's there. And I hope I'll hear from you. I hope you're going to go out there and make your difference today by talking to strangers. And until I speak to you next time, go out there and achieve more inspired results.